What are you doing, old mecanico?
Well, I'm studying this rust. The more I learn about rust, the more I don't like it. It destroys everything, including your car. Let's learn how to get this guy out of here. What do you think? Looks like new. It's not. Well, it must be remanufactured? No. Did I at least rebuild it? I didn't even do that. I didn't put a new kit into it. What did I do? I just cleaned it. It's amazing. This one works great. Check this out. This is how the pistons are supposed to come out. You see that? Just with zero effort, these pistons are supposed to come out. This one, I've cleaned, I've honed, right? I prepped it. I didn't get new seals or anything. Oh, the rest of this comes out pretty easy too. Look at this. I push it, right? Everything comes out so easy after I cleaned it and honed it and washed it and lubricated it. This one works great. And how much did I spend? Zero. We like that around here. Now here's the one off the other side. They're both off the same vehicle, but this one I haven't touched other than to remove it. Let's check it out. Let's see how bad it is. Okay, not too bad yet. All right, we're going to look at those here a little bit more, but we're concentrated on those pistons. What do you think? Them pistons working okay? No, they're not. How come the pistons are not coming out? It's not too bad. What's too bad? The rust. Oh, let me get a little more forceful with it. What do you think? It's not moving. These pistons won't move. This one's really stuck. I need to reposition this. This piston is barely starting to move. I'm moving one piston. I can see the rust all over the place. I'm going to move the other piston. I actually have it bottomed out so it doesn't move. Let's see if I can get this guy to move. Boy, I'm not pretending to struggle with these. Both moving. Now I'm just going to try to get the position to where that piston comes out of here. Wish us luck. Alright, little by little, I can feel it, so I'm going to keep going. I don't want to break these, so I've been told not to use any kind of petroleum-based product for cleaning or lubrication, but in this case, I know how to get rid of this mineral oil off that cast iron, so I'm going to go ahead and put some WD-40 on both sides because I don't want to break that piston. Now, you techs out there, you say, man, he shouldn't be showing them that but I'm going to show you how I can get all that residue out of there in just a little bit. I'm going to try and get some WD-40 on the other side. Boy, this rust is solid on this side, both sides. One more flip, and I think I'm going to get it. Let's see if I can get them to pop out that side. I believe I will. With the WD-40 that needs to be treated, I should be able to get these pistons out of here. All right, boom, there's one, and there's the other one. Awesome. There they are. The pistons, the cylinder, the dust boots. When you buy a wheel cylinder kit, this is what you get. You get new piston seals, you get a new spring, and you get a couple of dust boots. Now, because this rubber is still pliable, it's not cracked, it's not damaged, these are going to work fine. I'm not going to have to spend any money on these. Now, the kit doesn't come with pistons, and we're lucky that these pistons didn't break because I had to beat them out of there. That culprit is all over the place. Now, because I have contaminated, and that's a good word, because I have contaminated this cast iron cylinder with this petroleum-based product, I'm going to have to treat it now. Here is my dirty vinegar bath. Dirty because I've used it a few times. I'm finding out that it's only good for 1 or 2 uses, so that vinegar is no good. Now, I've got some lug nuts in there. I'm going to get them out of there. I'm going to put some fresh vinegar in there because I'm going to go ahead and get these guys cleaned up. The vinegar works great, but it takes time. You have to be patient. Now, you want the part to be completely saturated. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put all the metal parts in there. I do not put the vinegar parts in there. That's not a good idea. So I throw the metal parts in there, I throw my cylinder in there, making sure that it's going to be completely covered. Looks like I need a little bit more vinegar, and I'm looking around to see if there's any more parts that I need to soak, but this is going to help get rid of that petroleum-based product. After the petroleum-based product, we're going to wash it with soap and water. But this soap is amazing. This Dawn Platinum, I've never seen anything like it. It just takes a little bit of soap, a little bit of water, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Container needs to have a large opening, and your container needs to have a lid on it, because this is how we agitate these parts. This is how we're going to get that vinegar out of there to make it safe again. Just to make sure, do not put rubber parts in the vinegar. Oh yeah, guess what? They can go right in here. So we do that, and a little soak time, guess what? That adds to the cleaning. Let the soap do the work for you by letting it sit. We're letting the vinegar do the work by letting it soak. We're letting the soap and water do the work. Same way. Awesome. Fast forward the next day, I'm going to take that cylinder that's been soaking in the vinegar, and I'm going to come put it in our soap and water, and man, this works great. We do this, okay, we do that, and then we let it sit. This side's empty because I need a tray, and looks like this old vinegar has had its last use. Oops, I don't want that. I just want that. So I dump those guys out of there. I'm done with this. So now, after it's been doing this, I need to rinse it with fresh water. I don't want soap. And here we go. Don't make a mess this time. I get my parts out. I'm done with this part. Take them out. And then I'm going to get a rinse. Fresh water. Yes, a nice rinse to get everything just right. I'm liking it. So all our parts go into the rinse. There we go. Rinse it up. And looks like I have a drying station right over here. All right, here's my drying station. I take this, I do that, and then I put them there. All right, that didn't take much effort. I'm sure glad I didn't throw it away or lose it. I have the perfect opportunity to prove to you that the rust does not go that far. Now, if you leave it long enough, I guess it will. This one's been sitting 10 years. Now, you can see, I didn't clean these up. You can see that some of the threads are in these, but over here, right along the edge of it, this is where the fusion occurs. This is where you have to break it loose. This is where you have to work it. And I'll remind you how to do it, because we have to do it again. I showed you detail on that bleeder, how only part of it gets rusted. The fusion is right here. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a nice pick and scrape it. We're going to scrape it, and then we're going to brush it. Let me talk about wire brushes just a little bit. This particular one says Lincoln Electric. I think they make welders. That's a brand name, so it should be good. Now, all wire brushes are not created equal. You know, you want a good tool to get in there. So first we scribed it, because we only have to get in there about 1.5 threads, and we're going to make sure we get it. So I know you've seen part of this, but this is just a little bit more detail. We get it ready to accept that special sauce. That rust penetrator, thread loosener, let it go rust. Here it is. Can you see the separation? Let me zoom in. There's acetone and automatic transmission fluid. And the glass jar reminds you that you have to mix it up. This stuff works great. We open it up, and I'm going to put our first application on there. Now, who remembers what I'm going to do next? I let that soak in there just a little bit. I use the pick. I use the wire brush. I know my target area. Who knows what the next step is? I call it shock. When we take the hammer and we hit it, this is helping to get that rust penetrator to go in there. This is going to work. This is so important that I get that bleeder out of there. Now, I'm not even going to try yet, because this is the first application. So what you do is you put it on there, and look how fast it starts to separate. That's why I'm suggesting you have that glass jar, so you never forget. Whatever chemical reaction is taking place, this little solution is going to help you loosen threads so you can reuse these parts. If this bleeder breaks, I'm going to give up on this cylinder because it's too much trouble to drill it and easy it out. All right, let's go do something else. A little detail on the backing plate. There are 6 platforms on this backing plate in order for the shoes to do their sliding action. Some people don't realize they need to do this. This is called either servo or self-energizing. It's important that these platforms where they ride be in excellent shape. Now, it's not bad, but we're liking to detail it around here. I'm going to get it scraped up to bare metal. This one right in here, I'm making sure it's going to be smooth. These are not bad, but let me show you, it gets a little worse. This one right in here, let me show you the worst one. The worst one is right here. You see this little built up? I know it's not that big a deal, but around here, we like it almost perfect. So I'm going to knock that little rust off. Now I'm in a good position to go ahead and prep them all. Now you might be saying, well, isn't that going to rust? Well, yes it is, but I'm going to treat it with something so it doesn't rust. We're preparing all the platforms for the shoes to do their sliding action. Just like that, a couple more, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to protect that. We go here, and we're finished with the platforms. Again, there's 6 of them, and we get them dusted off. I'm going to get rid of any of that stuff right there. I get rid of it, and this is how I'm going to keep it from rusting. I'm going to take some anti-seize lubricant, and I'm going to put it right on there. Man, this is going to be good. I'm going to be real generous. I'm not spreading it, I'm patting it. I'm patting that anti-seize lubricant. Now I'm going to make sure to cover any little exposed metal. This is going to do a wonderful job. It's going to last a long time. These brakes are going to work better than new. How can I say that? Because this wasn't around 70 years ago, at least I don't know about it. This is going to make the brakes do their servo action wonderful. Now, of course, I'm going to do the same thing on the brake to make sure it's working well, and we're going to continue. We've washed these brake shoes with soap and water, rinsed them off, put them in the sun, let them dry. There's nothing wrong with these linings. Oh, I'll sand them up just a little bit before I put them on there. But there's a couple little spots, sure enough, on these shoes that need some detail. There's that culprit again. You know, why is that rusted and not the rest of it? Because it wore down to the bare metal. That means that there's some friction between the piston pin and the shoe. So this scraper works great. I'm going to get rid of that guy, that little imperfection right there. Okay, and I bet you can figure out what I'm going to do next. And there are 2 sides to this guy. And then I scrape this one here. Oh, let me just keep on one side. I'll do the other side later. I clean it up, give it a little brush, just like that. And then this guy right there. And not just there, over here and over here. Get all that in there. Now you can overdo this, and it might drip onto the shoe, but I might wipe it off just a little bit, because yes, you can do it. You can overdo everything. We want just a little bit on that pin. Same thing, a little bit. I might get myself a little smaller brush and get that guy in there. So I get myself a little here. I know I'm overdoing the detail, but I like it, so let's just go on. This one here, wipe off all the excess amount. Here, now, this pin. Is it a high friction point? No. Is it a friction point? Yes. All friction points need a little bit of lubrication, and we need that protection on there. This is going to work great. Over here on this side, this is where the pivot action takes place. This needs to be nice and clean. Get that culprit out of there, that rust, The more I learn about rust, the less I like it. Yep, a little bit too much, and let's get rid of the part that we don't need. This right in here, high friction point, a little bit. Every bit counts. And let's go on to the next step. Okay, there's that little shifting action. I wish you could feel this. Man, this feels good. These drum brakes are going to work fine. All right. One more brush, one more treatment, one more pat, one more shock, and we're going to see if this stuff is going to save this cylinder. All of these steps are important. Come on, bleeder. Come out of there. All right, there it is. Let's see if it comes out. Now, the original size, 3/8, is way too loose. The rust has deteriorated the size of that hex. I'm going to beat this other smaller socket into position. This is not the right size, but you got to do what you got to do. This socket is part of the bleeder now. There we go. Here we go. Come on, bleeder. Loosen up. And wow, again. Oh, this one doesn't want to let go too much. A good technician knows once you start to move, it should get easier and easier and easier. This one's not. Yes, it moved, but it doesn't feel wonderful yet. So what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to go in the other direction. I'm going to tighten it a little bit. I'm going to tighten it. I'm working it. It's getting there. I'm going to move it back and forth, back and forth. In fact, I'm going to put some more of this, shock it a little bit, and I think I'll come back one more time. It's too important that we get this guy out of here so we can save ourselves $25. And we always shock it after the treatment goes in. I've got it moving, but a good technician knows once it breaks loose, it should get easier and easier and easier, and that's not happening here. Okay, I'm going to give it some shocks. I'm going to let that sauce work, and I bet you we're going to have success. I'm going to move it in and out a little bit more. There's that direction, and there's that direction. I'm not out of the woods yet, folks. Okay, the other one worked better. Let that sauce do its job. Little by little, I'm gaining on it. Now, I'm not going to get too excited and go ahead and go for it. Now, experience is a wonderful thing. I know about the limit that I can get without breaking this guy. You know, I used to tell my students, I wish I could give you my experience, but the college chooses to sell it to you. Here on my YouTube channel, I get to give it to you for free. I don't know why I like that. There, it's moving back and forth, it's moving back and... Oh man, I'm getting there. I worked it, I'm patient. That's the secret to success when working with rusty components. And give it a chance. Let it sit, let it soak, and look what we get. We have the fruits of our labor right there. That bleeder, yes, I got it out. Now, while I'm holding this bleeder, all right, let me mention, I walked into the auto parts, not to buy it, but just to figure out what size it is. That's $4 a piece. I got online, and I'm going to be able to buy bleeders for $1.50. That's awesome. Quality brush needs to make sure. Over here on the other side of the vise, I've got a nice square edge that I'm preparing it, or I'm cleaning it. I'm getting this clean. Wire brushes need a little attention. Oh, I got a little bit of loose stuff over here. Let me knock it off. Soap and water, we did it. This is looking good. Now it's time to get these shoes ready. Let's see. This is not asbestos. I replaced these shoes, maybe a dozen years ago. Okay, this is my dad's truck. I'm getting it back on the road, and I'm reusing these shoes. Let's see what you think. Pretty darn good. Not cracked, not worn, reusable, ready to go. It's amazing. Thank you, folks, for sticking around. I hope you learned something. If you like our channel, please give us a thumbs up. Keep coming back. Thank you.